Why do people smoke cigarettes? Why do they overeat? Why do they drink more than just a little bit of alcohol? Why don't they exercise, and so on? And it sounds like I don't like human beings, but it turns out we want to get stoned. You know, girls just want to have fun. Well, people just want to get stoned. And I know that's a terrible word to say, but that's what eating a, quote, fine meal really is. That's what drinking 3-4 glasses of wine on a more or less nightly basis is. That's what smoking 5 and 10 cigarettes or more a day is. We get some kind of internal biochemical stimulation that we recognize as, quote, better or high, however you want to look at it. And we keep going back and back after that. So what I say is, to simplify it so that people can understand it, is that people want to get stoned by eating chicken and meat and cheese and eggs, and those are not things that we couldn't do. As a matter of fact, I even say there's a time and a place for heroin. That sounds terrible, but, you know, if you get a fractured hip or you undergo surgery, you need Demerol or morphine or Dilaudid, and those are all heroin equals. So there's a time and a place for everything. But we're doing too many of the chicken, meat, cheese, eggs, refined pastas, refined breads and cereals, fried foods, high-calorie foods, sitting on our duff, drinking too much, et cetera, to the point where we've created the health problems that we have. So real preventive medicine is arming people and persuading people to give up doing those things which turn out to be counterproductive. Well, if you take a look at what I call pre-technological populations, the Australian Aborigine, the African Kung, the New Zealand Maori, and so on, the Tarahumara of northern Mexico, all those people live what I call a pre-technological life. No electricity, no automobiles, no refrigerators, no grocery stores, no cigarettes. They can't drink too much because they'll be hungover the next day and they have work to do if they want to survive. So those people have not yet developed the technology to hurt themselves. But we have developed the technology to hurt ourselves so that we can drive everywhere and not exercise, so that we can eat too many high-calorie foods, so that we can smoke, drink too much, and all at very reasonable economic prices. It doesn't cost that much to buy French fries and hamburgers and cheeseburgers and pizza. And I'm not saying you can never do these things, but it is the frequency with which we are doing these things that has allowed us to develop these diseases. So you take those people who were pre-technological, and as they get, for lack of a better word, civilized, that is, they come to our cities and so on, they start developing all the diseases that we do. But if they didn't come to our cities, those conditions never occur in their cultures, and they live just as long as we do if they get past the teenage and traumatic years, traumatic implying tribal war or something like that. So the genetic tendency is always there to have this desire to get high on our internal biochemical hormones. The endocannabinoids is literally the name of those hormones inside of us. But there are other systems. And they don't become expressed. But once you get the chance to eat that fried chicken and that pizza, we keep going back because it tastes good, and that's my point for calling it high or stoned or whatever. Yes, they get the infectious disease that we've developed the culture to avoid. And malaria would be a common one. They also have lion bite and falling out of trees, so to speak, off cliffs, and so their life is much more physical and outdoors, and they have all the risks that our pioneers and explorers would have been exposed to, but they have none of our heart disease and diabetes and hypertension and dialysis need, or the cancers and so on, because they simply aren't doing those things.